I'm like, oh, okay. And then at the same time, though, I'm
Hmm.
like, well, if I pay it off, I'll keep the cash and not end up not paying the fucking whatever it's called, financing charge.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was looking at some of it. The one from this one loan I always have is like an extra almost $800 a
Hmm.
year. I pay, I'm losing. I was like,
Yeah.
jeez, Christ. And then the other one's almost the same, probably more.
So it's a weird situation because in order to have credit, you have to have debt, and
Yes.
it's like, and it seems so backwards. It's like, hey, I've demonstrated that I can pay off all of my debt, and I don't have any credit. It's weird. So my suggestion would be, if you can, pay off as much of your debt as possible, right? And what, and there's other ways to build the credit, but you want to pay off your debt, and all of the extra money that maybe you were paying in interest at $800 a year, invest it somewhere,
Right.
right? So then you're making money off of that. And then when it comes to actually building your credit back up, this was actually some advice I gave to Aaron. One thing you can do is get a single credit card and use that to pay your like monthly expenses, like your cable, things like that. And then just, so make your payments with that and then pay it off right away. That will keep your credit building without giving you those finance charges.
I was never able to get like store credit cards. Like never, never, never. And all of a sudden, I like Home Depot and Amazon. Like, yo, do you want to get? I was like, what? So I was like, fuck it, I'll try one last time, middle of the night. They're like, oh, you're approved. I was like, the fuck? So I don't know. Whatever I was doing seemed to have built up enough for me to get those. They're like $500 limit cards.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to get those for years. Anything like that. And I was excited about that. But I don't know. I never really went and looked and saw where my credit stands now. When I go back to I gotta go to my credit union, I'm gonna go and find out. They look up my FICO and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna pay off the truck. I'm gonna have this conversation with them too. Like,
Yeah.
is it better to pay off the truck now or pay off this other debt now, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is going consistently pay it off every month on time. See what they say. I'm sure they'll say, well, yeah, keep giving us money so we can charge you $800 worth of interest. You know what I mean? But hopefully they'll be honest with me.
Yeah. I mean, they should. Let's see. Boop. Yeah, money, finances, like, I don't know. Like, I was actually reading Pro Football Talk this morning, and
Yeah.
they're talking about how the NFL has an opt out clause after 7 years for their TV deal.
Opt
And
out.
yeah, so for the new TV deals, after 7 years, they can opt out and renegotiate.
The NFL kid.
The NFL can, yep. So what that basically means is if they continue to make money, they can renegotiate the deal. And there's a lot of people in there that are saying like, "Oh my God, the NFL should go public. The NFL should be a publicly traded company because there's so much money to be made." And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, be careful what you wish for, because right now the one of the reasons why the NFL can be as successful as it is because it is still like a privately owned company. Once you start getting stockholders involved and the share price becomes a big thing, first of all, the owners will never do it because the owners are not about to give up control of their enterprise.
No, control. They're all about control.
Yeah.
These are, like we described them beginning of this season when COVID. These
Hmm.
are the last slave owners.
Yeah.
They're really they're the masters.
But
Control everything.
yeah. But at the end of the day, if this becomes a publicly traded company, I mean, we think that everybody will get a large chance to be able to own assets and be able to make money off of the NFL. Well, the problem is majority shareholders now become the controlling parties.
Dude,
And
major problem.
yeah,
Pittsburgh has to deal with that shit. We got so many people want to be involved that they try to have a voice. The Rooney's ignore the shit out of them, but they get mad, and usually what they do is just build up enough money so they buy their own team. That's what happened in Cleveland. He's an ex-Pittsburgh owner. Jacksonville's an ex-Pittsburgh owner.
Mm-hmm.
Minority, like they just make so much bank off Pittsburgh and that association affiliation and their own companies, obviously.
Yeah.
And then they frustrated with the Roonies, and they go, "I'm going to buy my own team." They go off and buy their own teams and try to run shit the way they want to run it. So that's what happened. That's what happens. So
Yeah.
them dudes, they get tired of not having a voice, and they go, "Well, fuck it, I go buy my own shit."
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Definitely not going to give that up either. They definitely ain't trying to give that shit up.
No. So, and man, can you imagine? Because people look at it like, oh, like people like you and I, we were like, oh, we can invest a little bit in the NFL now, and now that's gonna, we can make a little bit of money. But we're really talking about people. If it's publicly traded, all bets are off. You can literally have anybody come in and now essentially own big portions of the team. Like, and that's the thing. Like, you couldn't invest directly in the NFL. It would be the individual teams that would be publicly traded, because the NFL itself is just a collective. But the
It's not even individual control isn't even the teams isn't even probably isn't even the biggest. It is the biggest factor. It's the biggest factor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not gonna ever get rid of that.
No.
Like, I don't care if you're me. For an investment in the NFL, as far as major owners, so there's no Russian oligarch running fucking the New York Giants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, no, you ain't.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge issue, because there's a lot of people think it's going to be a mess.
They're like, no, you're not coming up. They're not going to do it though.
No.
Right? I mean, they're free.
No. A lot of people, though, they just
won't do it.
No. But there's always unforeseen consequences, and it's interesting when people look at it and they see the dollar signs. They're like, "Oh, I can make money if I can invest in." Well, the NFL as a product, I don't know. It would be interesting how they would have to formulate that. Like, if you could buy stock of the NFL, but not buy stock in the individual teams, that would be something.
There's no way.
No.
I mean, the team's already NFL.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. The NFL itself, it's almost like any sports league. Essentially, the league itself, yeah, they make money, but they make money off advertising and things like that of the league and the TV deals. But the individual teams are also making their own money, so it's a strange thing.
I don't think it'll ever happen.
No, I don't either. And I don't want it to happen. I think it's a terrible idea.
My mom's got to drop off some cash.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully she's up. Drop off some cash. Needs her allowance. Weekly allowance for moms. And she's on the church thing. Another spring.
Hallelujah.
Okay. Let's see if who is going to let me in. Charlene let me in. Charlene's going to let me in. Her neighbor. This is my life. Run errands.
It's funny. You should go to
Well,
Aaron's and try to wake him up. That'd be hilarious.
I'm over there. What are you doing? I like going over here and look at all them girls around there. Oh my god, that's always fun going over there. There's a high candy.
I
Charlie, could you let me in? This is Zine. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Hi. Hi. Yeah, his complex is amazing. I love that dude's complex. Every time I go over there, I'm just like looking around like this.
You know, when I went over there, I didn't see anybody.
Oh my god. I'll say, right now would be a good time to be over there. As soon as it gets real nice out, oh, it's gonna be ridiculous.
It's gonna be like that car wash you go to every week.
Oh my god, that's terrible. I get that girl $5. I rolled the window down. I'm looking there in there, spraying down. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" Here, she's like, "Oh, thank you." I'm like, "Yeah, you know what's going on. I gotta pay you for an ass like that."
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, it's bad. You come over and go to the car wash. I'll take you through there.
That's gonna be dope.
It might not be your type, but it's nice.
I don't know. I don't have a type really.
Hold on, let me run here with my mom.
Yeah.
Mom.
Mm. Okay. Yeah.
All right, I love you. Yep. All right, have fun today.
Okay.
Gotta give her 100 a week,
Oh.
or as ever, whatever runs out.
Mm-hmm.
Go over there and check and see her purse, see what she got.
Wow. I only got one stimulus last year.
I don't know. I think there might be restrictions on the second one. I know there's restrictions on this third one. I don't know. I was like, why did they? I said, I mean, the only thing is, yeah. I think it's like, it's not going to help wage disparity. It's not going to inflect. It's not going to do anything to disrupt the, to check a difference between the haves and the have-nots.
No.
It's not. The only way it should have been done is if you filed an unemployment claim during that time, you get the money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they give me money, or anybody in my case money, anybody, even somebody more money than I make, all you're gonna do with it is most likely invest it.
Mm-hmm.
Make yourself more money.
Yeah. Well, it's like,
and then lose your job, you're most likely gonna blow it.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I even when it comes to like the minimum wage hike, and I've done some research on there, and there's evidence that says that at a in a local level, if minimum wage is increased, then it doesn't result in overall cost of living increases. But I feel like it does when it is nationally mandated. Like if you do it locality by locality, there's a very low chance. But I mean, just like you said, the people that have the money are not about to lose their money. So yeah, some people like Amazon, or yeah, I think it was Amazon. They made their minimum wage $15 an hour, but they made that choice. But if you mandate it, there's a lot of companies that won't want to make that choice. Like my company's one of them. Like my company will do everything in their power to keep costs down and keep, make sure that we are continuing to be underpaid. And that's what concerns me.
Well, that's the whole point, though, is that they, no, we know that. So their starting point is fucking really horrible.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So that's the thing, though. It's gonna be a sea change. Shit will change, and there's all kinds of problems with it. The making it $50 an hour. How many people are gonna kicked off the fucking dole? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who need that support? Are you gonna raise? Are you gonna fucking? You have to change a bunch of shit. But the fact of the matter is, the cost of living has gone up. The minimum wage hasn't changed anywhere near as it should have. Sucks that right now we do have to do something like this when we should have been doing it gradually every fucking year.
Yeah.
For the past 30 years. But now it does need to be done, and the consequences be damned. But people do not need to be getting paid $8 an hour doing any kind of job when bread costs fucking $3. Like, you know what I mean? Done the right things 30, 40 years ago and gone, oh, yeah, it shouldn't be this. No, instead, everyone got fucking greedy and said, let's keep that there, and I'll pay somebody slave wages so I can make billions and cause this wage disparity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have now. Like the fucking guy who works at the bakery 40 years ago lived next door to the doctor.
Yeah.
And now that don't happen.
No, trust me.
No, it's gonna suck, but it needs to happen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's gonna suck, but it needs to happen.
What I'm really concerned with is what it's going to potentially do to employment figures. Because yeah, it's one thing that, because what the expectation is when you make the minimum wage go up, a lot of salaries and pay grades are based off of that minimum wage. Like, oh, this job is worth this amount percentage above minimum wage. We're talking like office jobs and things like that, and what the starting place is going to be. I feel like there's going to be a shift with even more work moving overseas. And I mean, I'm starting to see that now. My IT development team is in India, and it costs them a fraction. Well, go ahead.
That's been happening for years.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing about that is, if you want to think globally, I mean, it's, I'm glad that job's over there, because them Indians been getting over on for fucking 150 years,
Yeah.
And whatever they're getting now is way more than their fucking forebears have ever got.
Yeah.
I look at it globally. I'm fucking, it's like it's time for a change, and it sucks that greed has kept them down, those wages where they were for so fucking long. And that's the sad, that we shouldn't even be having this discussion. It should already be, or it should probably be higher. And like you said, that's the starting point for people's salaries. Their salaries should be higher.
Yeah.
The wage disparity isn't just fucking between the minimum wage guy and the fucking CEO. It's the CEO and you.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know.
That's the problem. That's the problem. One hat was it 0.5% of the people of the world control 90% of the wealth.
Yeah.
That's nightmarish.
They have more than, like, we talk, like, people will talk in some case about, like, Jeffrey Bezos, I think his name is.
Yeah.
And and how much money he and everything he has, and they talk about his altruism and things like that. The reality is, if he was really altruistic, he could cut his salary by an exorbitant amount. We kind of had this discussion last week about should a quarterback take less money. A CEO, in theory, should take less money because the difference between $90 billion and, in terms of living expenses, 90 billion and 100 billion is so insignificant in terms of what it takes to survive. And that's really more my baseline is, do people have enough to be able to not just survive, but do they have enough to be able to consider themselves middle class? Because in my estimation, the middle class is where the strength of your economy always resides, because now you're talking about people that have disposable income that will not take all of their disposable income and just automatically reinvest it. They're buying things for their kids, or taking trips, or doing those things. The ultra wealthy, they get a dollar, they're investing it to get $1.50 back. People who are really poor, they're check to check. Like you just said, you get a stimulus check, that thing gets blown in one day because they are living check to check. So you need a big population for economic stability of people that are comfortably living. Now, knowing that there's always going to be the class differentiation, to your point, the poor class does not have to be so poor that they can't survive. Like you need to raise your base of your poor class, because that raises the base of your middle class, which actually improves the outlooks for the upper class. Like, you want if using like basketball players as like terminology, right? When you want your floor, your low class in the NBA, if your worst player is, say, I don't know, someone like I'll go back, someone like Sean Bradley, that's still pretty good, right? But if like your worst player is Sean Bradley in Space Jam that got his powers taken away, then your team's in trouble. Like you're only as strong as your weakest entity. So improving the outlook of the poor, and just because they're in the quote unquote lower class doesn't mean that they have to actually be poor. It just means that they're in a different tax bracket. But I could go on and on.
Well, no, I mean, it was like this, the NFL, about the NFL and like pay grades, which I thought about our conversation last. I also thought about that. This morning I thought about basketball.
Yeah.
And I thought about like baseball.
Yeah.
And I thought about like the pay scales. Rich. I was like, football is the only sport where you get paid by a position.
Yeah.
You're like, a quarterback gets 100. I'm like, what? Every other sport is like, no, the best player, or whatever it is the highest paid. You know what I mean? There's no locked in value for the guy.
Yeah.
And that's what's really fucked up.
Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense in football because positionally they're so much different.
But that's why they are way different. But people have won Super Bowl without top tier quarterback.
Oh yeah, and
easier to do it the other way. And all we're doing nowadays is what? We're getting a young guy, paying him, building a team, and trying to win.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's all everyone's trying to do. That's why you got these older guys. Oh, I'll take a little less money to, it's, I don't know. But it's the only sport that's like that, though.
Yeah.
You're locked into this amount. You're locked into that amount.
I think I actually like the NBA's salary cap structure better than the NFL's. I like the soft cap where you just pay taxes over it. So then you're not capping people. But I don't like the idea of the supermax.
The only thing about that, though, is that's why it's unfair for the NBA. LA, Boston, New York, they can pay whatever.
Yeah.
The bigger you are as a franchise, the more money you have, the more you can do with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Milwaukee and all them,
Well, even like Pittsburgh, that would be Pittsburgh would be in the NFL would struggle, like Miami, Pittsburgh. Well, maybe not Miami because Jeffrey Ross makes a lot of money, but you're talking about Dallas, you're talking about Las Vegas, Washington.
Hold up. Okay, I think. Okay, good. All right. You're basically talking about the 90s.
Yeah.
The 90s. Yeah.
Yeah,
Giants, Dallas, San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, the same
Yep.
one. Pittsburgh every once in a while. Yeah, you're talking about the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other thing I don't like about the NBA's structure is I don't like the max contract. Like you can only get this much. Like, to your point, you should be able to make whatever people are willing to pay you.
Now, I do like the max. Because if you're getting the max, I don't know. I like the max. That's fine. I'm like, if it wasn't for that,
yeah,
everybody'd be in LA.
Yeah. Well, then what about a system where there's no salary cap, but there's a max on the amount of money you can make?
What does that mean?
So you can spend as much as you want. So, like, say you're LA, right? We'll just use them as an example. They can put as many max contract guys as they want to on their roster, but they don't. But each player is only able to be maxed out at a certain point.
What?
That's
Yeah.
kind of how like most companies work. Like my company, we have pay grades where you have a pay grade in which you can max out at that particular pay grade. Now the company doesn't have a cap on how much it has to spend on employees, but there is a max of what each employee can make.
That's what we do. I'm maxed out.
Yeah. I hate that. Absolutely hate it.
I mean, the only thing different from my situation is I have overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And I can, I got called at 1 a.m. today. If I went in at 1 a.m, I would have made more money than I did not coming into work.
Yeah.
So, but that's job specific and department specific, and
Mm-hmm.
where I, like, I'm not. Everyone who has my pay grade doesn't make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
Because we have overtime.
Yeah.
We have a lot of, which is nice. It gives you a lot of flexibility. I assure you, I wouldn't have made it through the last 10 years of my life without it.
Yeah.
In child support like I was paying, I would never have made it. I would never have survived.
Yeah, I'm not eligible for overtime anymore, so that's kind of rough.
You're maxed out, so you get no overtime.
No.
So
Well, well, yeah, I'm a salary employee, like,
Yeah.
and that comes with certain perks too. Like we're bonus eligible, but at the same time, and there's a couple other perks. Like if I were to show up, like it used to be, I could show up to work at a day and say I got sick like halfway through the day, I could leave and not take any PTO, like or time off. Whereas if I'm hourly and I leave early, I have to deduct how many hours I left early. So there's some advantages, but disadvantages like technically I'm always on the clock, and I don't get any.
But that's also a disadvantage to you, though.
Yeah.
I mean, because you are. I mean, you no matter how much time you put in on an assignment,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously you're getting paid well, so you've decided you're getting paid well enough to warrant your effort. But yeah, it sucks. You don't really know. You can't quantify it.
Yeah.
Right. You have to quantify it like figuratively in your mind. Like, okay, I'm fine with this pay. I'm busting my ass over here. But you don't have an hour for hour, minute for minute amount of money you're getting from what you. That's what I have that, which it's easier for me to swallow.
Yeah, like I think like it makes sense. Like I got in this argument with some family because I'm also a big believer that teachers are grossly underpaid, and if you paid teachers more, you would probably get better teachers and better education and things like that. I'm a huge education guy, and my couple of my family members, they grew up, obviously in the 60s and 70s where their teachers were majority like coaches and they were just there to pass the time, and they had some bad teachers and they shaped all their opinions off of that. So they're like, well, why should teachers get paid, hundreds of $1,000s a year if they're only working, 9 months out of the year. I'm like, well, it's a little bit more than that. One, it's salary, and the salary doesn't have to be based off of hours that you work. And that's the part that they can't get over. Second of all, their hours are a little bit longer than you think because they got grading to do, parent-teacher conferences. They have to consistently go back and get recertified to teach, which costs money. They pay out of their own pocket most of the time. A lot of them right now are taking summer jobs because they don't have enough money to live through the year. A lot of them don't get paid anything during the summer because it depends on how the school district spaces out their particular payments. Where like the NFL, you get game checks during the season. NFL or teachers a lot of times will get checks during the school year. Once the school year's done, they don't get any more checks. So now they have to either save or they have to do things. So it's not like when it comes to people's pay, I'm never going to begrudge people making what they can make. And even going back to what we talked about last week, I'm never going to ask a quarterback to take less money. I'm just interested if a quarterback would, for the benefit of the team. But yeah, I would never ask them to do that. And
it's also, it all depends on where they are in their career, where they are financially. Ben took $5 million less, whatever.
Yeah.
That was ultimately, I think that's the best. I don't know. I think it's the best case for a team. It saved us more money than even him retiring would have saved us.
Yeah.
And you get better play, and it's like, I don't know. I think it is the bet. If you're going to have try to win, it's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're never going to not try to win, which is kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
Right now, see the rest of the league taking that mulligan 1 to 2 years and fucking sucking. So they can move up and draft. You know what I mean? You're like, everyone. Like you're looking at Lamar Jackson and even the Browns, and you're like
Baker.
I didn't say his name. I refuse to say his name. And then,
what, Baker Mayfield?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You did say bakers were living next to doctors, right?
No. I ain't talking about that guy. I refuse to say his name. And then what's his name? Mr. Burrow down there. You're like, it's like, damn it, So it's like you get frustrated by that, but at the same time, though, the way it works, and then I have trust in my front office. I like a lot of moves they've been doing. It's like I do a lot of they're like desperation. I don't know if desperation. It's just they're working with what they have to work with. Yeah, and guys are leaving, getting paid off the success the team had on defense, and that's good. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And it's good for them. And then we've drafted well. We always draft well. So I expect big things from the young guys we drafted. At some point, we got to hit on a cornerback at some point. Like, holy God. Pay Cam Sutton. I'm like, what are you going to do with that?
It's too bad you couldn't have picked up Kyle Fuller.
No, there's no way. We have no money.
He's on the Broncos now.
Yeah, we have no money. Broncos have money because they've sucked. They don't have to pay out quarterback.
I will say Miami was in the situation where they had to tear everything down. Like Pittsburgh in that situation, like most teams that have to do the what's it called? Like that tank essentially.
Total tank build.
Yeah. Like Pittsburgh is never going to be in that situation because they generally don't overspend on people like free agents and try to build winners for 1 year. The teams that have to tank, like Miami was doing that. Miami kept going through this pattern of, here's what I'm going to do. We're gonna bring a new coach in. We're gonna have some success, and then we're gonna convince ourselves we're a year away. Then we're gonna spend money on people like Mike Wallace and all of this stuff, and get ourselves into a bad cap space, and then just win and go from 10 wins to 5 wins the next year, and Miami's they had to do a hard reset. Like Pittsburgh, they can get away with it. Like you talk about Lamar Jackson. Also remember where Lamar Jackson was drafted. Like Pittsburgh still will have a chance to get a quarterback. They're probably just going to have to take a bit of a risk.
Yeah, but that's not, you can't. There's nobody with that resume coming out that's going to be the pick of the first round.
Yeah.
It's and they're not going to change their entire offense.
Yeah.
I mean, they did what they had to do. I mean, they
Oh,
did
yeah.
what they did to find success. They were tired of missing the playoffs. They went all in on Lamar. They changed their entire offense. The only team in the league doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a limitation to it.
Yeah.
We see it like every year. Every year we see the limitation. It's just like
Yeah.
when he goes against a really good defense in the postseason,
Mm-hmm.
can't complete those passes.
Yeah. It's,
Laundry time.
oh, I got mine in the machine ready to go. I want to pay with my federal refund. I see the weight bench down there, man. You should bring Aaron over, work out with him in the morning.
What's he gonna do? I ain't gonna listen. What am I gonna do? I gotta do anything. I think got dust all over it.
Yeah, I love my resistance bands. I want to get some adjustable dumbbells.
Oh,
Yeah.
You like-
So
hands or adjustable dumbbells?
so I have resistance bands right now, but to supplement that, I also want to get some adjustable dumbbells. And I saw these ones they're kind of expensive. Seem to be like pretty strong quality though, and they can go up to like 185 pounds per dumbbell.
Yeah.
So that could supplement. But everything in my house. Oh, if you ever get a chance to come down here, everything is for the most part has like multiple functions and can be stored away. Like my weight bench, I can fold up and put away. My coffee table, slides out and I can store information. Like I almost want my house to look like nobody's living here.
Nice. Compartment, Swiss Army house.
Heck yeah. I love the minimalist type of
Right.
view.
I got the bear surviving view. This shit is wild over here. Trying though, here and there. Little by little. I gotta get it. This is the year. I gotta get this thing. I gotta get windows, walls finished. I gotta get this whole thing redone.
Yeah. I gotta.
Pretty.
I need to finish painting the upstairs.
I know. It's like I got so much.
But I needed a little bit of a break from it. I'm gonna clean my carpets. But what else do I need to do? I gotta keep practicing the drums. I was gonna start another podcast, but I think I'm gonna focus on my comic book instead.
Yeah.
Well, it's
What?
a
I didn't hear about it. I must have talked about it while I was off.
I have so I used to have an online webcomic. It's almost like a Calvin and Hobbes type deal called Tools. It's about like the lives of like hammer screwdrivers and things like that. Actually, yeah, I actually had a little bit of a following. I got some money from advertising but circumstances happened and I had to stop it. But I really liked the characters, so I got with the iPad and being able to draw on the iPad, I started doing a graphic novel, like a long form story instead of a short strip with those characters.
Yeah.
Maybe like 4 people will read it, but it's fun. It's nice to do. Because those guys are great.
You have an element to get the creativity out there. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You gotta do something. Shit, man.
I wish I could have convinced Ivy to, because Ivy could draw. She showed me some of her drawings she should do. She can draw like comic book art.
Nice.
So I wish I could have gotten her, like 10 years ago or 15 years ago and started working on an actual comic book with her. That would have been dope.
You can't get her to help you do this stuff now?
She's so busy with the 2 little guys and, her job. She's logged in almost every weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Why? Why can't I?
Degrees, right? Doesn't she? Masters and all that shit.
I know she's got her degree. I don't think she has a master's.
I thought you said she had the masters. Or something.
No, no, she's the master of her domain.
Oh.
Oh man, man, where the heck is my driver's license? Mm, 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 mm.
Oh god.
Where's Big Aaron at?
Nowhere.
Oh man, just making sure I didn't have any viewers, any stalkers, I should say. I realized that last year I did Hilda's taxes.
Oh, you did it for her?
Yeah, like man, I did a lot for that person.
Yeah, dude. What's Well, listen, you gotta finish that movie.
Oh yeah, I will be. I'll be going up and watching it right after this, after I get my taxes done.
I'm about to get off here though.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll see you next time.
All right, man. Good looking out, sir.
Peace.